Are youth academy tournaments worth doing in FC26? I get this question a lot. Many of you find them boring and question whether there is any advantages of doing them. So do they serve a purpose? Well, in this video I will be covering just that. I will be focusing on a 14-year-old youth academy player and playing every youth tournament until I get the message that he's unsettled and wants promoting to the first team. I will be monitoring his development and see whether he levels up more quickly and also whether he learns new roles quicker too. And ultimately, how many jumps in overall ratings he makes from his very first tournament up until his very last. I will then do this whole process again, but this time playing absolutely 0 youth tournaments to see and compare whether there is any benefits from playing versus not playing youth academy tournaments. So let's jump into this and introduce you to our youth academy player we will be doing this experiment with. So here's Mr. Douglas Nisbet, our Scottish youngster who's 14 years old and can play on both wings and striker. He's currently 54 rated, so a lot of work to be done before he makes my first team. Let's see if youth tournaments can speed up that process. So the way I'm going to be doing this is I'm not keeping him on a balanced plan for 2 reasons. One is because that will make him level up slower, and 2, I wanted to see whether tournaments made our player develop roles quicker, as well as overall rating. So Nisbet has 4 playstyles, not bad, but dead ball and long throw are a bit stinky. But anyways, if we head over to development plan, we see that it would take 11 weeks for Nisbet to level up on a balanced plan. A balanced plan is good for a more well-rounded player, but just takes too long. So basically, I'm just going to be working through these player roles on the left, starting with the winger role, which cuts Nisbet's level up time down to 4 weeks. And then once he's unlocked both pluses for that role, I'll then move on to the wide playmaker role and work my way downwards through all the available roles. It's a good idea to unlock all the roles your player is able to, especially for Nisbet here, because once he's unlocked all the roles, he will be able to play to his full ability across the whole forward line. So those of you that are unaware, every youth tournament game you win will decrease the level up time by 1 week. So if you win the tournament, all 3 games, that will basically mean you've shaved 3 weeks off it takes to level up. So the 4 weeks it says Nisbet has to level up after I win the tournament, that will then say 1 week to level up. So before we get started with the tournaments, I'm going to save a checkpoint. This is so I can come back to this stage of Nisbet's development and repeat this whole process again, but this time not playing tournaments, and compare the results. The way I'm going to be showing you guys Nisbet's development progress is for the first season, I'll show you his progress after every youth tournament. Then after that, as development starts to slow down, I'll show you his progress after every season. Playing every tournament, of course, and then his final results after we get his unsettled message that he wants to be promoted to the first team. So without further ado, let me smash out this first game quickly and show you what I mean by shaving off time it takes to level up by winning tournament games. So I win the first game, and Nisbet got man of the match and a 10 rating, but honestly, it doesn't matter what rating you get, as long as your player was in your squad and played the game, then his development time will be reduced by a week. So then if we quickly select development plan, and let me scroll down to Nisbet, you can now see it says 3 weeks to level up, instead of 4 weeks like it said prior, the first youth tournament game. And then, after our second game we won, Nisbet actually dropped down to just 1 week to level up. Not sure exactly why it shaved 2 weeks off his level up time, but I assure you, it is usually just the 1 week that's cut off after winning 1 tournament game. So after winning our third and final game of the tournament, Nisbet did in fact level up to 55 rated and unlocked a plus for his development role. So all in all, playing that tournament has wiped off 4 weeks it would take to level up. If I didn't play the tournament, I'd still be looking at 4 weeks until he got to 55 rated. Not substantial, but over a long period of time, how much would that add up? Like I said before, for this first season, I'll show you his progress after every tournament. So let me skip to the next tournament. I'll keep him on the winger role also, and if he achieves that second plus before the next tournament, then I will move on to the wide playmaker role like I said previously. Also, take note of his potential to see if that increases after the next tournament. Alright, so after winning the second tournament, Nisbet is now 56 rated and is 9 weeks away from 57 rated. He did get his second plus for the winger role and has moved on to the wide playmaker role. His potential also didn't change. But now let's move on to tournament number 3. Again, climbing another rating to 57, he now only has 4 weeks till 58 on his new role as an inside forward because he's now completed his wide playmaker role. His potential has also increased to 82 to 94 rated instead of 80 to 94 previously. But let's skip to tournament 4. So again, he climbs another rating to 58, but this time he's just 1 week away from 59. I mentioned previously I was going to make my way down the roles, but instead of moving through the striker roles, I thought I'd complete both wings first, so all the right wing roles are done. I'm now moving through the left wing roles, and then I'll do striker, as I think that will be the quickest way for development. Notice his potential has also flew up to 88 to 94. He's still 14 years old going into Tournament 5. So at 59 rated after the 5th tournament, Nisbet is just 1 week away from 60 rated. He's also smashed through all the wing roles, so both left and right wing positions are completed regarding roles. So it's just the striker roles to rip through. And again his potential has increased to 92 to 94. Will this mean his overall potential has been affected by playing youth tournaments? Well, we will find out at the end of the video. In case you're wondering, we are in January in our first season. I promoted Nisbet in June, so we will have our second to last tournament in March and then our last one in May, before moving on to the end of season 2. So he's gained a +4 in overall this season, well basically a +5, because he's only a week away from 60 rated. But let's get on to tournament 6. So he did get to 60 rated, however his development is slowing, with me trying to get these striker roles. Once Nisbet does complete all the striker roles, then I will pick the role which takes the least amount of time to level up. So yeah, not a great deal going on after tournament 6, but he is still 14 years old, and 60 rated at 14 is pretty solid. I wonder what rating he'd be if I didn't play the tournaments. But let's get to our last tournament of the season and wrap the first season up. So as you can see, Nisbet is now 61 rated, and is really struggling to get the target forward player role, which is hindering his development. However, it's important for me to go through these roles in an order, so I can do the same order for the test where I don't play any youth tournaments. Later on in the video, I could pick the role what gives me the quickest time to level up, but I want to see if playing the tournaments make it quicker to develop roles, and as I said, I need an order to follow in the next test. So after the first season, we've seen Nisbet jump from 54 rated to 61 rated, and have seen him complete all the player roles for left and right wings. His potential has increased, and is still only 14. So from here, I will jump to the next season and the tournament what you have at the start of every season. Okay, so I've just completed the first tournament of season 2. I just wanted to show you that he's now 62 rated and is now 15 years old. So this is the stage of every season I will skip to and show you the progress Nisbet has made every season. So yeah, let me skip to the following July and into season 3 to check on Nisbet's progress. Okay, so at the start of season 3, Nisbet is of course now 16. And at 67 rated, that's pretty high for a youth player who's just turned 16 years old. That's a +5 in his overall rating compared to the previous season, and did finally get his target forward role completed, so he's now onto the poacher role. Nisbet has actually grown 5 inches in height. He's gone from 5'4" to 5'9", so that's pretty cool. But yeah, let's now move on to the start of season 4 and see where he's at. He will be turning 17, where usually a lot of academy players will start to get unsettled and want to be promoted, so we may be getting a message from Nisbet soon. But as you saw there, Nisbet has grown a massive 6 ratings to 73 rated. He's grown more over the last season because he finally completed all of his player roles, so now this meant I could pick whatever role would make him level up the fastest. So, with this next season, I fully expected Nisbet to send me a message saying he was unsettled, so I tried to cram in as many tournaments I could to try and squeeze as much development out of him as possible. And I got to as far as May. I managed to get another full season worth of tournaments out of him until I got this message. He's unsettled and thinks he has what it takes to be in the first team. Well, let's see if he does. Let's see his final rating after playing every youth tournament since he was 14. Wow, he's now a whopping 78 rated. A youth academy player with that rating is criminal. No wonder why he wants promoting. With another +5 gained to his overall rating, that means from when he started as a 54 rated 14-year-old to a 78 rated 18-year-old, he's gained a massive +24 overall rating from playing every youth tournament. He's also only 7 weeks away from 79 rated, meaning he's just 1 rating away from gaining a playstyle plus. So yeah, let's go ahead and promote him, and then I'll show you guys how to check what his true potential is. Once promoting your academy players, head over to transfers and you want to just type in your player's name. So if I search for Nisbet, I can now reveal his actual potential. So there we have it, 90 to 96 potential. I think he's probably one loan spell away from being a beast. But yeah, those are the results of playing every youth academy tournament possible, from the age of 14 to 18. How will these results differ if I hadn't played a single tournament game? Well, let's see. First we need to load the checkpoint from earlier to take us back to where Nisbet was 14 and at 54 rated. So to stop me boring you guys to death, the way I'm going to show you Nisbet's development progress by not playing any tournaments, is I'll show you the first season and compare that to the first season where I did play the tournaments. And then from there, I'll skip to the message where he's unsettled. All whilst doing the exact same process with the same player roles order to keep this a fair test. So basically the only difference is that I won't play the tournaments, just to see if there's much rating difference from playing versus not playing Youth Academy tournaments, whether Nisbet's potential is affected and whether he achieves all his player roles. Hopefully, when he is unsettled, it will be the same time as before. So as you can see, Nisbet is back at 54 rated. I'll start him off as a winger like before and then work through all the other winger player roles and finally the striker roles. We all now know it will take him longer to level up because I'm simply not playing with him. But how much will that affect his final rating? Well, let's skip this season and see what rating he's going into Season 2 and compare that with the start of Season 2 where I did play the tournaments. Okay, so at the start of Season 2, Nisbet still grew to 60 rated, meaning he gained a +6 in his first season without playing a single tournament. He also completed all the player roles for both left and right wing positions and has moved on to the striker roles. So let's compare Nisbet's development with this stage from when I did play the tournaments. So obviously, after one season of playing the tournaments, it led to Nisbet being 2 ratings higher than the Nisbet who didn't play the tournaments. Their potentials also differ slightly, but as things stands, had no effect on the speed it took to complete player roles. So nothing too crazy in terms of the first season, but I'm sure that will change as seasons go past. So let me skip to when Nisbet is unsettled and we can compare properly after a more lengthy time of not doing youth tournaments, because we all know leveling up when you're a low rated player is a lot quicker and takes more time to level up the higher your rating is. But anyways, luckily I did get Nisbet's unsettled message the exact same date as the first time round, so at least we can compare with 100% accuracy, being the same time frame. So the results. Playing tournaments versus not playing tournaments. How much difference will the overall rating be? Are tournaments really that beneficial to academy players? I'd say so. Non-tournament Nisbet reached a final rating of 72, 6 ratings lower than tournament-loving Nisbet. That's quite a substantial gap considering both players are in the 70s in regards of rating. Nisbet also failed to get any pluses for the target forward role. He did achieve to complete all the other roles, but tournament playing Nisbet managed to get all roles completed, plus have time to spare, to pick roles what levelled him up the fastest. So does this prove that playing tournaments speeds up the time it takes to complete player roles? But let's take a closer look at the end results, side by side. So of course you notice the +6 rating difference. The potential is also slightly different. We will check second Nisbet's actual potential shortly when we promote him to see if that is different from the first Nisbet. And lastly, as you know, the first Nisbet has more roles completed. Second Nisbet does have first Nisbet beaten on pace, but that probably comes down to second Nisbet being stuck on development plans for longer. So now let's promote him and check his actual potential and see whether it's any different to 90 to 96 like it was the first time around. I know potential isn't the end of the world, as dynamic potential can take a player's potential way beyond their actual potential, but it's always nice to check to get a feel for how well they'll be in game. So let's search up Nisbet here and get our results. Okay then, playing versus not playing tournaments has no effect on a youth academy player's potential is the exact same as first Nisbet's. So basically, playing youth tournaments only affects the time it takes to reach that potential. However, if you're one of those players who like to make profit on their academy players, take a look at this side by side. 78 rated Nisbet is a whopping £24 million more than 72 rated Nisbet. Goes to show just a few ratings more can increase the value of a player massively. So then, do I think youth tournaments are worth doing? Personally, yes. I always do them because, as I've shown here, I want my academy players developing at the fastest rate possible. I like to get a sense of how they feel in game. The tournaments don't take long, but if you really hate playing them, then what you could do is chuck the tournament difficulty on beginner, score a quick goal, get possession of the ball and simply put your controller down and the other team won't tackle you. Just scroll on your phone or something for 3 minutes until the next game. Ultimately, it comes down to how much time you have. If you're short on time and don't want to play the tournaments, then I've shown you here that you can still walk away with a 72 rated player without playing a single tournament. But anyways, I hope this video has cleared up any questions you have regarding youth tournaments. Drop any questions you have in the comments section and I'll be happy to help. Please drop a like on the video because it was a very boring one to make, but an important one I think. Please consider subscribing for more FC26 Career Mode content. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.